Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be building a application which will tell you the exact distance between two locations, and for this application we will be using Google Distance Matrix API. So this is the interface of the application. You can see the live demo. So here this is a simple interface. You will enter the location from and to, destination and origin, and then if you click the calculate button it will tell you the distance in miles, kilometers, and also it will tell you the exact distance in text, also in minutes, also how much time it will take to travel by drive, and from and to. So basically if I enter any sort of location like this, you will see. Now if I enter this location, so if I click calculate, so now you will see it will exactly tell me the miles here, which is 9 miles, 14 kilometers, 39 minutes. Distance in minutes is 2350 minutes, and distance from, you can see the exact location. So this you can repeat for any location in the world. This is not limited to a certain country. You can also pick, let's suppose this is an autocomplete we are using of Google Places API. So if I take example of America, so if I pick cities also, it is also valid for cities also. You will see it will exactly tell me the distance between these two locations, which are actually cities. 270 miles, 435 kilometers. Distance will be 4 hours 7 minutes, and distance in minutes you will see. And if you just search one more time like this, and now you will see exactly it will tell you 1351 miles. So this you can repeat for any location, guys. You can see. So this is a very useful applications in many scenarios. When you want to travel, you need to use this online tool in order to calculate the distance between two locations. So this is a very handy tool. So this will only work between a certain country if you are traveling. So let's suppose you write here, you select here USA, and then you need to select India. So this will not work in this situation because we are only calculating the distance between the roads here. So it will just say better get on a plane. There are no roads between this the origin and destination. So make sure that you're calculating the distance only. The the origin and destination needs to fall between the same country. So this is just a restriction of this application. You can also build that feature in this application, but for the sake of simplicity, I haven't implemented that scenario. So now to build this application, if you want the full source code, you can go to the video description link. I have given the link in the video description of my blog post. Let me just show you that blog post. So this is a blog post. So all the source code will be there inside video description alongside with the screenshot. So here you need to paste your own API key, which you can get using Google Cloud Console account. So you should be having a active Google Cloud Console account. So just go to Google and type here Google Cloud Console and just sign up for your account. After that, create a API key and simply paste it. And also after going in, you just need to enable the Google Distance Matrix API. So you need to enable that API first of all. So if you just go to API section, and here you just need to enable this distance matrix API. So simply you need to click enable. So it will get enabled. So just enable it. I have already done that. So now moving on to the code here, you can also download all the source code in the video description. I have given the link. So now we will build this application from scratch. So let me just delete all this code here. Let me write it once again. And also let me delete all the JavaScript. And now just open a simple text editor. Just include the Bootstrap CSS CDN and also include jQuery CDN and just copy paste this script tag from my website. This is the library script tag, and here you need to copy paste your own API key. That's it. So now we will use the container class of Bootstrap. Inside this, we will have the heading in the center position. We will say calculate distance between two locations. And then we will have a simple form. We will give it an ID of again form here. And inside this, we will have the form group class. And here we will give it an ID of that is from. So here we will say origin. So this will be of, we will be giving a form control class of Bootstrap. So input type will be text, and in the placeholder we will say enter origin location, and this should be required. And we can give it an ID of from, that's it, from. And similarly we can remove just repeat this for to also. So here we can just say to, so we can just say here destination. So again we can again have the input field. So input type will be text, and in the ID parameter we can just say to, and placeholder we will say enter destination location, and this should be also be required. And we also need to give it a class of form control. So here in the form group we also need to give it a class of container. So basically if you run this application now, you will see two input fields out there which is there. So here also we need to give it a container class just to create some margin. So now we have two input fields. Now we need to bind the autocomplete here. Whenever we type here, we need to bind the autocomplete functionality. So that we can do here simply by going to the script section. After the body, just write some custom script. So here we will first of all bind this for this input field here. So first of all, let me just show you the blog post. If you go to my blog post, I have written this code here step by step. So this contains a listener here which you need to listen. Let me copy that listener. So it will be google.maps.event.add DOM listener. So we will be listening for the load event. So when the Google map is loaded successfully, so the first argument is window, second will be load, and the third will be callback function. So here we will simply load the map here. So first of all, we need to create for the from. So we can get the reference. So if you just see here, we need to say google.map.places dot autocomplete, and here we need to pass the reference. So what we can do is that here we can pass the reference, or we can create a new element here which will be from location, and this will be equal to document.get element by id, and the id we have given which is from. And same we can do this for the to location also. We have given the id 2. So here we can pass the reference here, simply pass the reference which is from location, that's it. So this is done here, and now we simply need to do this process once again for the two locations. So we can simply copy paste, and here we can replace two location, that's it. So this is done for two location as well. Now what we need to do is that, so now once again, if you just now see here, if you type anything here, you will see the autocomplete is, it is saying Google is not defined. So let me just see what is a, so let me just see. It is saying Google is not defined. So inside this, so I think it is saying because we haven't defined the function. So inside this endpoint, you can put a callback parameter. So whenever this library is loaded, we will execute this method, which is init map. So now you can surround this code here inside this init map function. So function init map, that's it. So make this modification, guys, in this code here, that's it. So simply what we are doing is that we are adding a parameter inside this request callback, which is init map. Init map is the function name which we have added here, and we have defined this function inside our JavaScript. So after this also we need to add and symbol, just add this. And now if you refresh it, hopefully our, it is saying cannot read properties of undefined. Oh, so it is not accessible. These variables are not accessible here. So we need to pass here only document.get element by id from, and same we need to do this here also, document.get element to id 2. So do it like this. So now this will work, hopefully. Once again we have faced the problem. Let me just see here. If you just go, if I just copy paste this code here, let me paste this and remove this callback. We don't need this. Just put and here. Just replace the id here from and to, because we have given the id which is from and to. So now if I refresh here, it is saying unexpected. Oh, sorry, we are missing this thing. What we are missing? Let me just see inside the source code. You will see here. Just write this code here like this. Just copy this and paste it here and replace the IDs here, which is from and to. So sometimes problem can occur. So you need to be patient. It is saying Google is not defined once again in this situation. I think what we have done is that let me just paste this once again. Just the script tag, let me paste it just to troubleshoot if it is working or not. Obviously, the IDs are different here, so we need to replace the same ID. So just go to this input field here and replace it from place and this ID to to place. From places, sorry, to places, and hopefully this will solve the problem. So now you will see our drop down is working here. So this was just the problem of giving the wrong ID. So make sure that you give the same ID that I mentioned in the video description. And once again, let me remove this other code here. Like this. So we were in this scenario, we were there. Let me just remove this here. So we were there. So we have attached this. Previously, we were there in this situation. Let me again open this. So you will see these drop downs are happening here. You can see we have successfully attached this. If I see in the console here, everything is fine. No problem is there. So now what we need to do is that we need to get the addresses here. So once again, inside this uh, API, there is a event here, which is google.maps.event dot add listener. So inside this listener here, we will pass our from places input element, and then there is an event name called as places underscore changed. So whenever you enter some kind of place inside that input field, this event will automatically fire this function. And here inside this function, we need to get the actual place which the user has entered. So here we will say from place, and to get the actual place, we will call the get place method. And now to get the address, it is very simple. From address, we will say here from place dot, and this contains a method which is sorry, property formatted address. And now we can console log from address. And same we can do this for the to field also. Simply copy paste it, and here you need to replace your ID, which is two places, and simply rename to two place, to address, and simply we can just log here to address. That's it. So now if you refresh it, you will see if you type any sort of address here, it is not logging the address. So from places underscore changed. from address to address. So it is not logging it. So sometimes it can happen, but let me move on without wasting some time here. Let me just summarize this code for you, what has happened here. Let me copy paste all this code. Copy from the body. I'm just explaining you the markup here. It is very easy. Let me paste it. So you can see this is the heading, calculate the distance between two addresses. Then we have the simple two input fields which are holding the from places and to places. And then we have this input field which will hold the actual address. It is hidden by default, and same goes for the destination address also. Then we have a simple button which will calculate the distance, and then we have simple unordered list which will display all the items for us. And for the JavaScript, this code is also available. Simply copy paste this code also. Paste it. So here what we are doing is that we are taking the original address, then we are taking destination, and then we are invoking the distance matrix service, and then we are passing some options here, which is origin, destination, travel mode, unit system. And in the callback function, we are displaying all the results here. We are displaying the distance, duration in kilometers, miles by some jQuery. You can see that. So if you want all the source code, go to the video description link and download all the source code. So here inside this form, we are calling this calculate distance function here, just targeting this form, invoking the submit event handler, and this calculating the distance. So it's a lot of code. So when typing, some errors may take place sometimes. So that is why I just wanted to summarize this code. So if you just write this code yourself, you will just explain more. So I have written this code step by step, so I know. You can just see it's a very good application. Make sure that you use it. And if you want the full source code, go to the video description link. And please hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next video.